I slept with another man during a trip to save my marriage. 2 days later, I had no home, no money. Was I really deserving of being left with nothing? My husband and I had been together for years. The relationship was no longer perfect, not even good, but he still believed it was worth fighting for us. So one day, without prior notice, he proposed a trip. He told me we needed to get away from the routine, to reconnect, to remember who we were. I accepted. Maybe out of obligation, maybe out of curiosity, maybe out of guilt. We traveled to a paradisiacal place. Beach, music, cocktails, heat. During the first few days, it seemed to be working. We laughed, we had real conversations, we even went back to sleeping embraced, like in the beginning. Until that night. We were in a bar facing the sea. There were dim lights, couples dancing under the stars, a live band playing. I had a mojito in my hand and was, honestly, enjoying myself. For the first time in a long time, I felt good. I was smiling, I was laughing, I wanted to stay there. He did not. It is late, let us go back to the hotel, he told me with that voice that sounds calm, but is tired of insisting. What? We are just getting started. We can have fun tomorrow too. We came to have fun today. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We did not shout, we did not make a scene, but the atmosphere broke. He told me he was leaving, that I could stay if I wanted, that he needed to sleep. I told him to do whatever he wanted, and he did. He left. I stayed. I ordered another drink, then another. I lost count. I did not feel drunk, I felt loose, light, for a moment, free, as if all my frustrations had disappeared with each sip. I got up to dance, at first alone, then with a group. And then he appeared, tall, easy smile, open shirt. He told me I danced as if no one was watching me. I replied that that was the idea. He offered me a drink, I accepted it. We danced together, body to body, laugh to laugh, hand on waist, breath on neck. I felt something I had not felt in years, desire for someone who looked at me as if I were enough. I knew I was crossing a line and I did not stop. We took a taxi. I do not remember if I suggested it or he did, I just know that suddenly we were in an apartment that was not mine, taking off our clothes as if the next day did not exist. It was not romantic. It was clumsy, fast, brutally empty. The next morning, I woke up with a knot in my stomach and a dry mouth. I did not even remember his name. I got dressed in silence, without waking him. My legs felt weak. I hated myself, I was in pain. I ran to the hotel. I opened the door to our room and I knew instantly. He was not there. The bed was made. His things were not there, not his suitcase, not his watch, not his toothbrush. Only the echo of the disaster I had just caused. I looked at my cell phone. Missed calls. I tried to call him. Nothing. Voicemail. I told myself, he will come back. Spoiler, he did not come back. And when I went to pay for another night at the hotel with my card, transaction declined. Insufficient funds. I thought it was a mistake. I checked the bank app. The screen loaded and the balance was zero. Zero. I had no idea what was happening. I called the bank. They answered me with a robotic tone and told me that my account had been frozen by legal order. Legal order? Who does that without notice? I called him again. Once, twice, 5 times. Nothing. On the 6th, he answered. I know what you did, he said with that calm that scares more than any shout. I am not going to blame you, but I am not going to let you go unpunished either. What are you talking about? You will understand soon. Good luck. And he hung up. I stared at the phone as if it were a bomb that had just exploded. I had no money, no ticket, no one. I was dying of shame, but I had no choice but to call my parents. I told them there was a problem with the card, nothing more. My mother did not ask too many questions. She transferred me just enough to buy a return flight. She told me to go straight to her house. The trip back was torture. Not because of the plane, but because of the guilt, the anxiety, not knowing what he had done while I was dancing with another man, while I was destroying him. And still, part of me wanted to believe that we would fix it, that a talk, an apology, an explanation, no matter how twisted, would be enough. Spoiler, it was not enough. When I arrived at our house, I noticed something strange from the street. Everything was the same, but no, The energy was different, as if I no longer belonged there. I tried to open the door. The key did not turn. I tried again. Nothing. I knocked on the door. A woman opened it. Older, suspicious. Yes, sorry, this is my house. I live here with my husband. The woman frowned. Are you the previous owner? Previous? We bought this house 2 days ago, ma'am. My face went blank. It cannot be, there must be a mistake. She said nothing, just went back inside and returned with an envelope. She said that if anyone showed up asking for him, we should give them this. The envelope had my name on it, written by hand. Inside, a single sheet. Do not call me, do not look for me. All your things are at your parents' house. We are over. It was as if I had been punched in the chest. I staggered away, not knowing whether to cry or scream. Calling him was useless, I knew he would not answer. I walked to my parents' house with trembling hands. I felt empty like a shell. When I arrived, my mother opened the door. She did not hug me. My father did not even look at me. Your things are in the guest room, he said. What is going on? We know what you did, he spat. We received everything, your photos, your messages, your decisions. You cannot judge me like that. My mother crossed her arms. You can stay a few days, but you will have to get a job. This is not a hotel. A job. Your husband is not going to keep supporting you, my father added with contempt. It is enough that we are letting you in. I went up the stairs without saying more. The guest room had my suitcases, a box, and a smaller envelope. Inside, there were legal papers and a folder. The cover said, divorce. Finalized process. And inside, photos, many photos. And at that moment, I understood everything. First, the divorce papers. It was already done. Signed, sealed, official. There was no going back. The document was dated the day after the night I slept with the stranger. It did not even take him a week. He already had it planned. And still, he took me on a trip. I opened the folder. There was a handwritten letter. I recognized his handwriting instantly, that handwriting that used to leave me notes on the fridge that told me I love you on the edges of napkins when we ate out. It did not say I love you this time. It does not hurt me that you slept with another man. It hurts me that you did it after I took you on a trip, believing we could still be saved. It hurts me to have been the only one who believed we were worth it. It hurts me to have trusted you. My throat burned as I read, as if I were swallowing glass. It was not just that night. Also the thing with the friend. Yes, the one you laughed so much with, the one you went out with without telling me, the one you saw while you said you were at your mother's house. The photos do not lie, you do. And there they were, printed on photographic paper. Me, sitting in a bar, too close to him. Another, laughing while he kissed my cheek. One more, at night, leaving a restaurant arm in arm. You may not have had sex with him, but you betrayed me long before. It is just that that night was the final nail. You know what the worst part is? That I truly loved you and still, I had to learn to let you go. Because a person who destroys you with a smile does not deserve a second chance. I closed my eyes. I felt nauseous. Not because of what I saw, but because of what I lost. Because it was not just my husband. It was my house, my name, my reputation, my dignity. All evaporated in a stupid decision and an even more cowardly silence. I left you everything that was yours. What was mine, I eliminated from our lives. Do not call me, do not look for me. This is the last time you will hear from me. And he signed. Not with his name, just with a letter, as if I did not even deserve to remember him completely. I sat on the bed in the guest room like a punished child. But this was not punishment, it was a sentence. And I had already signed it without knowing it the night I decided to stay in that bar. The worst part, I was still trying to justify myself. It was just one night. I was hurt, he left first, I just wanted to feel something. But there was no justification that would change the fact that I had destroyed him. And he, instead of yelling at me, erased me. I became a footnote in the story of a man who loved me more than I was capable of valuing. And as if the universe had a twisted sense of humor, there was still one last blow left. My mother knocked on the door. There is something you should see, she said, leaving a USB drive on the bed. What is it? What you are missing to understand everything. She looked at me for a second, with the eyes of a mother who can no longer protect her daughter from herself, and left. With trembling hands, I put the USB in the laptop, and what I saw broke me inside. The file was named 03B Noche.mp4. There was no need to play it, I already knew what it was. But I did it anyway. I appeared on the screen, staggering, laughing like an idiot, with my dress crooked and my hair damp with sweat. First, dancing alone. Then, with him, the stranger. His hands on my waist, the laughs, the drinks, the exact moment he pushed me against his body, when I kissed him without thinking, without resisting, as if there was no one else in the world. As if I did not have a husband in the hotel room waiting for me to come back. The video lasted 2 minutes and 30 seconds. At the 1:18-minute mark, I take off my shoes, I laugh. I let myself be carried away, literally. At the end of the clip, we leave the bar, hand in hand, while people applaud as if it were a show. And it was. It was a video recorded by someone from another table. A spontaneous recording. Or at least, that is what I thought until I saw the second file, audiobadgewhatsapp.m4a. It was a voice note from a woman. It said, "Here is the video you asked for. I told you I was going to watch her. There is your proof. You deserve to know who you married." My stomach clenched. Who had sent it? Who was watching me? It was not just a mistake, it was an ambush. My husband already suspected, maybe from before. And while I thought I was breaking the rules, he was already building the way out. I left the room, trembling. My mother was waiting for me in the kitchen. She looked at me without saying anything. "You knew?" I asked her with a voice made of ashes. "I saw it when he sent it to us," she said bluntly. "We thought you were going to come back repentant, but you arrived denying everything, lying, crying for yourself, not for what you did." I sat down, not to argue, because my legs could no longer support me. Who recorded it? The wife of one of his friends, apparently. Your husband had asked them that if they saw you acting strange on the trip, they should let him know. No one forced you to do what you did, daughter. No one set you up. They just left you alone, and you buried yourself alone. I covered my face. Not out of modesty, out of desperation. Everything I had done, everything I had said, everything I had wanted to hide, was already public domain. Because if my parents knew, if he knew, if his friends knew, everyone knew. I became the WhatsApp gossip. They labeled me unfaithful, the one who thought she was smart and ended up with her clothes in a box and her dignity on a USB drive. He shared it with everyone. Not just with you. And then how do things get known on their own, daughter? The video leaked. Someone else saw it. Maybe one of his friends. Maybe the same guy you left with. It does not matter. You can no longer control it. That was what hurt me the most. Not even the sex, not the betrayal, not the abandonment. The public, irreversible humiliation. My reputation ruined, my relationships in ruins, my family broken, and my husband gone. And for the first time, I asked myself the only question that really mattered. What do I have left? The answer came to me alone. Nothing. Just me. And I did not even know if that was enough. I spent the following days on autopilot. I would get up late, I would not eat, I would not talk. I would check my phone, even though I knew it was not going to ring. Not a message, not a call. Nothing. Silence. Sometimes, I thought that was what hurt the most. Not the divorce, not the frozen accounts, not the sold house, but his silence. He did not yell at me, he did not insult me, he did not break anything. He just left, he erased me, and with that he told me everything I needed to know. My parents tolerated me, nothing more. My mother avoided talking to me directly. My father did not direct a single word to me. I slept in the guest room like a stranger, like a temporary tenant that everyone wanted out as soon as possible. I tried to look for a job. Not because I had the strength, but because I had no other choice. My studies were outdated. I had no recent experience. I filled out forms and swallowed the urge to cry every time someone asked me for my marital status. I would check divorced and feel naked. One day, while going through my things, I found an old notebook. It was his, from when we used to leave each other little notes before going to work. There was a sentence written on the first page, "If we ever get lost, let us come back here." I read it so many times that the ink seemed to fade. But there was nowhere to go back to because he was not lost. I lost him. And not just him. I lost my home, my identity, my friends. Because yes, even they distanced themselves. We do not want to get involved, they said. Translation: we do not want your disaster to splash on us. And still, part of me kept repeating the same thing to myself. It was just one night, a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes, right? But I no longer know if that is true. Because every day I wake up with the feeling that I earned all of this. And at the same time, there is a smaller, weaker voice that whispers, was it not too much punishment? Did I really deserve to lose everything? I am not looking for pity or approval. I just needed to say it out loud, even if it is on the internet. I needed to spit out this guilt so I could move on. Today I am alone, without a partner, without a clear future. I am trying to start over, learning to live with who I am. Maybe I will never forgive myself. Maybe they will never forgive me. Maybe I do not deserve it. But still, I wonder, one night, one mistake, does it justify having your whole life ripped away from you? 8 months have passed since everything broke, since I woke up in a strange bed, since I returned to a house that was no longer mine, since I understood that I had not only lost a man, I had lost myself. There is no pretty way to tell what came next. There is no magical transformation, there was no hopeful new beginning like in the movies, nor a cathartic moment in which I redeemed myself. There were only slow, heavy days full of silence, shame, questions that no one wanted to answer for me and others that only I could answer for myself, but I was terrified to do so. My parents let me stay longer than they had promised. My mother, silent but present. My father, absent, even though we were under the same roof. Every dinner was a play where I was the main actress and the audience already knew the ending. Evasive glances, curt comments, dishes washed in silence. I felt like an intruder in my own story. Little by little, I began to gather what little was left of me. I found a job in a clothing store. It was not the place I imagined being at 34, but for the first time, I felt I was earning something for myself. It was a small step, but it was mine. I managed to rent a small one-room apartment with cold walls, without pictures or history, but I felt at peace. I had no memories there. There were no traces of him. It was like starting to write on a new sheet, even though the ink was still stained with guilt. During the first few months, I dreamt of him almost every night. Sometimes, I would see him just as I left him, serene, distant, hurt. Other times, he would appear with another woman, smiling, happy, and I would wake up with a mixture of anger and relief. Anger that he had replaced me, relief that at least someone could fix what I broke. I never saw him again. He never wrote again. I do not blame him. Once, I ran into one of his friends at a supermarket. He looked at me, tilted his head as if recognizing a shadow, and kept walking. I stood there for a good while, with my hands trembling on the shopping cart. That was the final confirmation. For all of them, I no longer existed. I was just the uncomfortable memory of a betrayal. There were days when I thought about looking for him, about writing him a long, sincere email, full of everything I could never say. Telling him that I was hurt, that I regretted it, that I felt empty. But I did not do it, because I understood that asking for forgiveness can also be a form of selfishness. Sometimes, forgiveness is not asked for to heal the other person, but to soothe our own conscience. And he deserved his peace, without my interruptions. My friends disappeared. Even those who said they would be there forever. Some blocked me, others just drifted away without explanation. And although at first I experienced it as a betrayal, I later understood that not everyone knows what to do with someone who is broken. 8 months have passed and I am still broken, but different. I no longer cry every day, sometimes I even laugh. I no longer check his profile, I no longer repeat the same phrases in my head like a mantra. It was just one night, it was not that serious. Because I now understand that yes, it was. Not because of the sex, not because of the guy, but because of what it said about me. I was a coward, selfish, immature. I thought I was invincible. I convinced myself that love could withstand everything, that one mistake does not ruin everything. I was wrong. Love breaks, and sometimes, it never gets glued back together. Today, my life is simpler. I work, I cook, I read. Sometimes I feel lonely, yes. Other times, I enjoy not having to pretend with anyone. I started therapy. I learned not to justify what I did, not to look for enemies so as not to feel like the only guilty one. I learned to say, I did it, and I did it wrong. And that helped me to look at myself in the mirror again without looking down. Do I miss him? Yes. Do I regret it? More than I can explain. Have I forgiven myself? Not completely, but I am on my way. Step by step, breathing, one day at a time. And sometimes, when I am alone in my apartment, I find myself repeating in a low voice a phrase he once left written for me, when we still loved each other. If we ever get lost, let us come back here. And although I know we are not going back, at least I have started to come back. To come back to me, to the woman I forgot to be, to the one who does not need someone else to love her, to learn not to destroy herself.